Students, as you know that we can only see anything with the help of any light. There should be a presence of light, then only we are able to see anything. Okay, so here comes, according to that, there are two categorized different materials, or we can say objects, which we can define according to the light. So here is the luminous and non-luminous objects. Okay, so let me introduce you first of all the luminous object. What is luminous object? Luminous object is nothing but any object which is emitting a light. Like we are having example for sun, and this is stars. Stars are also visible, yes, and torch and candle and lots of other things we are having. Like suppose these, why I am taking this example, students, so you people know that light is emitted by any object. Okay, luminous means, if we call it in Hindi, like we can say that is giving out any energy जो खुद कोई रोशनी देता है. Okay, so see, we are able to see sun because it is giving out the energy, that is light, and now it is shining brightly so that we are able to see it. Okay, now stars also emit light. They are having their own light. Luminous object will have their own light. Okay, the object which are having their own light and they emit it. Emit means like throwing it. Okay, throwing it. So yes, sun is throwing light, that is why we are able to see the sun. Stars, yes, we are able to see it. Candle, the flame of the candle is having a bright side, yes, so that it is throwing light in the terms of photons. All these examples here, because light source are throwing something. All these are light sources. What are they throwing? They are throwing photons. What are photons? They are energy packets. Okay, you have to just remember this thing, that photons are nothing but energy packets. You will learn it in details in class 10th. Okay, so here light sources are those sources which are having their own light, and that own light is thrown in the form of photons, and that is nothing but an energy packet. That is why that energy packets are very, very useful for us, and now we are able to see these objects because they are throwing the light. So as we have seen that some objects are throwing the light, but are all the objects actually throwing the light? No. So here we introduce non-luminous object. Non-luminous objects are nothing but the objects, simple objects which are not having their own light, but they reflect the light that is coming from the source. Okay, let's suppose I am giving the examples here. The moon is a perfect example. Yes, the moon is throwing a light that is coming from the sun, and it is throwing it in the direction of the earth and all other directions also. But because we are receiving it from earth, so that we are visible, we can see that the moon is visible to us because of sun. If there is no sun, then moon is also not get visible. We can only see those objects like other planets, like tree, like classroom or any furniture that is present inside your room. Right now you are able to see it because of light. Yes, in room also, if you make it dark, okay, let's suppose you are switching off all the switches in your room and make it all through dark. Will you be able to see your table or chair or bed? No, not now. Why? Because there is no light. When light is coming, then the light source, any light source you can take, not only sun, any light source. Let's suppose here is a bed. So light source is throwing a light on it, and that light after reflection is receiving by your eyes. Okay, that is why now you are able to see this thing because of receiving the light that is reflected back. Okay, so all these are reflected back things are actually of any three kinds. That is the opaque, it could be a opaque, it could be a transparent. Yes, so opaque, which are not letting the light to pass through it anyhow. Here is example of this tree or wood or any other object, like your book is an opaque object because it is not letting the object to passing the light through it. But transparent, like glass surface, and glass actually let the light to pass through it, and a little bit of light it get reflected. Okay, so in case of transparent, most of the light get pass, and in opaque, most of the light get reflected. Okay, here reflected. So students, this is all clear that non-luminous objects are any other objects which are not having their own light, like planets. Like if we can see Mercury, Venus, Mars, why we are able to see these planets? Because the light that is coming from the sun is actually thrown by them, and now we are able to see it from Earth. And why we are not able to see them by naked eye? We can only see them by the help of telescope. Yes? Why? Because the telescope is getting that in a wide range, and our eyes are not that much able to receive a little bit of light. But telescope are having the mirrors or glasses that has been set up in a perfect manner, so that the reflected light is received by the telescope and they get enlarged, and now we are able to see it. But our eyes are not having that much of functions, and the simple light that has been thrown by these planets are not much sufficient and not much bright so that we can see them. Yes, in the solar system chapter, I think you recognize that we can see the Venus planet in the evening and the dawn time. Okay. Now, why? Because this is the brightest planet. I have told you Venus is the brightest planet, and from the Earth we can see that planet by our naked eyes. But these all are non-luminous, that are not actually shining. They are not having their own light, but they reflect the light that is coming from some energy source.